We do need men, though. We do.
We don't need them.
We do.
No, because they're lesbians.
Who do you call to get your car fixed? A man or a woman? Your toilet breaks down. Who do you call?
So I fix my own car. I can do. I'm motor mechanics.
Your power supply. Who runs it? Who runs the infrastructure of society? Men or women?
Oh, at the moment, men. Obviously,
yeah,
because of patriarchy. Because of patriarchy.
Oh no.
Forget the pressure to settle down by a certain age. A thought-provoking trend is shaking things up. Men are increasingly delaying marriage or skipping it altogether. Is this a full-blown rejection of the husband material label, or something more complex? Are men reevaluating their priorities in the face of women's changing aspirations? Or is there a broader societal shift in how we view love and commitment? In this video, we'll get into the assumptions and explore the why behind this trend. Women do need men, that's a fact. But there's this sentiment among some modern women that they don't need men because they identify as lesbians. It's an interesting take. When it comes to practical matters, like fixing your car or dealing with household repairs, who do you call? Most often, it's a man, right? Whether it's a mechanic for your car or a plumber for your broken toilet, men dominate these fields. Even the infrastructure that powers our society, who runs that? Currently, it's mostly men. Yet, despite this dependence on men for various tasks and services, there's a growing narrative among modern women that they don't need men in their lives. But let's be real, men still play significant roles as boyfriends, lovers, and even sugar daddies for some. Now, when it comes to dating, modern women have set such high standards that it's becoming increasingly challenging for men to meet them. These standards often lead men to look elsewhere, to countries where women are more traditional, feminine, and wife material, like the Philippines, Thailand, and Eastern Europe. Hence, the emergence of the passport brothers community among Western men. But unfortunately, when modern women meet certain types of men, like Chads and Tyrones, all those high standards they usually have suddenly don't seem to matter anymore. It's like they forget their checklist when they're attracted to these guys. And then there's this idea that the money women make means they're super smart or skilled. Take, for example, a woman with a degree in philosophy who thinks she could easily become a successful lawyer. Sure, education and career choices are important, but it's not always that simple, especially with the impact of online reputation. Imagine how disappointed future generations will be when they find out their mom could have had awesome careers in philosophy and law, but instead spent all her time online, only to end up struggling to find a job later on. This whole conversation brings up a big problem: the gap between what modern women expect and the reality of their choices. It's important for women to see the value in traditional gender roles and realize that success doesn't always match up with what society expects. Even though modern women might think they don't need men, the truth is more complicated. Men still play important roles in many parts of life, even as things change between men and women. It's time for women to rethink what they want and find a balance between relationships and their goals. And here's the thing women need to understand. You can't expect to get everything without giving something back. It's like offering a terrible deal where the other person gets nothing and faces serious consequences. That's just not cool or attractive. Imagine thinking you deserve everything without doing anything in return. It's a bad way to look at things and only leads to feeling let down and angry. Respect and love aren't just given to you. You've got to earn them by being a good person and showing love to others. If you've turned into someone who's not respectable or loving, it's going to be hard to find those things in life. Some things you do sticks with you and makes it tough to earn back trust and respect. Everyone has the right to say no to you for any reason, and you can't make them accept your behavior. Society isn't just run by men, it's more complicated than that. Sure, lots of rich people are men, but that doesn't mean men control everything. Women do a ton of unpaid work, and men deal with their own issues like homelessness and crime. Men also face problems like higher suicide rates and not doing as well in school sometimes. We gotta see all these different sides instead of just saying society is all about men. Instead of blaming one gender for everything, we should try to understand each other better and work together. both men and women have important roles in making things fair and right in society. In many ways, women have boxed themselves in with their self-centered tendencies and reluctance to take responsibility. This leaves little room for finding solutions or making peace. Personally, if you're on the lookout for a partner, my advice is simple. Look for a good, respectable woman wherever you can find her and be there to support and protect her. Don't let the ideas of feminist movements steer you away from your path to happiness and success. It's important to realize that no one can have everything, and going through the complexities of relationships requires compromise and understanding from both sides. Blaming one gender for the struggles of modern life only fuels division and bitterness. The best way to go is to aim for open communication, empathy, and mutual respect in our relationships. By recognizing the limitations of both genders and embracing our differences, we can build stronger, more fulfilling partnerships that withstand the test of time. Remember, it's not about pointing fingers but finding common ground and working together towards shared happiness and fulfillment. Isn't it interesting how American women often blame men for almost everything? But what's even more intriguing is their reaction when they realize men are leaving the country, tired of American relationship dynamics. Suddenly, these men are labeled losers and desperate for seeking women who value traditional morals and femininity. The irony hits hard when American women view women in Eastern cultures as oppressed or eager for American men. If only they had the chance to explore beyond their borders, they'd discover the true essence of loyalty and embracing natural masculinity or femininity. Eastern women are educated and confident, yet they stay true to their feminine values, unlike Western women who seem to have lost touch with moral integrity. It's sad to see modern Western women complain about men seeking better partners abroad. Accusing men of guarding their resources or competing with undermining women is not just illogical, it's absurd. Trusting anyone outside established relationships for personal gain is risky at best. The difference between traditional values in East and South Asia and the superficiality in Western societies is glaring. Despite American women's pursuit of physical perfection through cosmetic procedures, they fail to realize that true beauty comes from within. Men simply want appreciation for their efforts and contributions, rather than being used in superficial relationships. Living an honest, real life without being manipulated or used is really important. It's best to be careful about who you spend time with, especially when it comes to dating. Dating has changed a lot, especially with all these dating apps around. Today, relationships feel like business deals. Men have to meet a long list of demands from women. Things like being tall, good-looking, having money, and even owning the right kind of car. It's a lot of pressure, and one wrong move could mean getting kicked to the curb. What's interesting is how women's reliance on men changes depending on what they need at the time. This can be confusing for men who might not understand the ups and downs of modern relationships. Plus, women tend to treat men they think are beneath them badly, but once those men become equals, they get treated poorly to boost the women's ego. This behavior underscores what I believe to be the innate nature of women in contemporary Western societies. Many modern women reject traditional gender roles, viewing alignment with feminine traits as oppressive. Instead, they champion the adoption of masculine attributes to assert dominance. It raises the question, are men simply following the lead of modern women, or are they embracing their inherent desires and aspirations? When things don't go the way they hoped, women often hope everything will magically fix itself, whether it's with their jobs, relationships, or where their life is headed. They don't like the idea of growing old alone, so they look for someone to be with for financial security. Basically, modern relationships are a mix of who has power and how traditional ideas about men and women influence them. Men feel pressure to meet expectations, while women sometimes want to be independent, but also rely on men for support. Even though society is changing and we talk about treating everyone equally, old ideas about what men and women should do still affect how relationships work today. As things keep changing, it's important to understand and respect what both men and women want. Instead of sticking to old ideas about what men and women should do, we should try to understand each other and work together to have good relationships. That's the only way we can move past the old ideas and have real partnerships and companionship. Alright guys, we've come to the end of this video, and if you enjoyed it, do well to click on the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to check other videos on our playlist. We've got some amazing contents for you. See you in our next video.